Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Choice Chats. I'm so uber excited today. As you know, this is a space that we've created as a love letter to all those who've made a bold choice for a better tomorrow. And I am super ultra excited, a bit of a girl crush here, to have Lori Barr, who is the CEO and co founder of Raise the Barr, a foundation that helps single parents succeed in life. And Lori, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited because the moment I heard your story, well, the moment I was exposed to Raise the Bar, I think I've shared this with you. I just felt this energy at a visceral level to the point that I felt like I needed to support it in some way, somehow. But the more I got to know you, the more I really wanted to share your story here with this audience. And so, with that, I want to ask you to share with us a little bit about what your journey has been and what's led you to where you are today.
Well, can I just start by saying the fangirl slash girl crush is a mutual feeling. Lauren, I think we met each other maybe 5, 6 months ago for the first time. But I
Yes.
think anybody like watching how we interact with one another would think that we've known each other our entire lives. And I really feel that affection towards you. Just a very genuine, admiration and desire to just get to know you better and be in the same space as you. I think what you do is amazing. And so it really is humbling and an honor to join you today to talk about myself and raise the bar and, how we lift one another up and create space for one another to be the best versions of themselves.
Oh my gosh, Lori. Uh, I'm not going to cry. Mic
Don't,
drop.
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do
Mic
it.
drop. But this is what I mean when I say it takes a village,
It's
right?
true.
And so your story is so powerful because a lot of times, our circumstances have the potential to define us. And your circumstance, which I know you'll share here in a minute, redefined you.
Yeah.
So I want to pass the pretend mic to you and give you an
Okay.
opportunity to share that story with us.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll start with, you know, becoming probably the biggest thing that happened in my life to shape, you know, who I would be as an adult was becoming a mom at such a young age. And not in a planned way, not in the way that, I guess a traditional path, and traditional quote unquote. Um, I, I had a college boyfriend and I got pregnant when I was 19, going into my junior year of college. And um, I had to figure out what my life was going to look like as really a young person who had no understanding of my own, identity or path forward. I was really that like, not young, and I was immature. So I'll add that. So at a very young age, I became a mom and had to figure out what I was going to do to be able to provide for this baby. And that shaped everything going forward from that point on. Um, and it was a challenge, not only because we wound up my son's father and I wound up not being together really from the get-go. He went his way and I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing this by myself. And so not just like how do I provide for this baby, but like what's our future gonna look like? So it was, a lot of the stress of like just trying to get by day to day really impacts your executive functioning skills, meaning like your ability to plan ahead and think ahead. And it really is like that cortisol increases and you're just like fight or flight. Like I gotta deal with things right now. Um, And that's a challenge, right? So figuring that out, and then also dealing with a world that has stereotypes and misconceptions about a single parent, a single mother in particular, a young single mother to be very precise, right? There are stereotypes out there that we're still battling against, that I experienced, that I didn't quite understand, like what the deal, why are you judging me? I think you would celebrate the fact that I brought a life into the world and I'm like grinding, I'm like trying to figure this out, but that's not the case, right? So those early experiences of my early adulthood and being a young mom really paved the way for where I am today. And it was not an easy journey, but through those experiences, it was, I discovered that I had a voice. I had ideas of how things should be, and I just needed an opportunity to be able to bring those things together and create possibilities for those coming behind me, for those who have had the same experiences, right? And are going through that now. Like, how do I make the road smoother and share the lessons learned so there's a better chance for all of us to reach our fullest potential?
Wow. I just got chills because as you are describing this story, I see myself a lot in the same story because even though I wasn't a, a single young mom, I was a very young mom. It was like my first month in college. And my husband, who's my husband now, we were both immature. And it is tough. And there is a stereotype behind that, right? Because it just added more to the stigma well, you're not really pegged for success because here you're having a child your first year in college when you don't even know what the heck to do with your life. And it's not like there's very many resources, or there weren't at the time, which is why I love Raise the Bar, telling me that that's not really my script, that I do have options and they are there to support me in whatever it is that I decide to do with my life. I've spent I spent the majority of those early days trying to resist that stigma, resisting the stereotype of what I was supposed to become. Drop out of college,
Mm-hmm.
probably go on food stamps and just
Mm-hmm.
coast my way through life just because I made this choice.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, it fed this new resolve, right? Almost like you see this little human and it like sparks something in you, makes you tougher. Not because you spent X number of hours having contractions and pushing the thing to life, but because because all of a sudden there's a purpose, there's a
Right.
reason. And sometimes people just need access to resources in order to find their way through this stage in life. So I can completely relate. And that's a perfect segue into the next area of your life or your journey that I want everyone to hear about is what was that bold choice, that pivotal choice that you made that really helped build a better tomorrow and what we see today?
Well, I think the choice that I made was to bet on myself. And that sounds maybe that sounds a little bit arrogant, and maybe it sounds a little um, self centered, but let me explain a little bit behind that. So, about 10 years ago, I was going through a very, very dark period in my life. I had a work related issue that changed the trajectory of my life. And, for anybody who's interested, just Google my name and you'll learn all about it. And it's something that I live with and recover from daily. But it was actually the poor choice that led me into a really dark place. And when you go through something, whether it's brought on by your poor choices and truly poor decision making, or it's, from outside factors, there's a level of trauma that you experience. And the trauma can shake you to your core in that you lose your self-confidence, you lose trust in your judgment, decision making, um, and multiple other things, right? So it takes a while to recover from that.
Mm.
And what it took for me to recover from that is somebody seeing in me what I couldn't see in myself, was that was not the end of my story, that there was more. There was more, there was a reason, there was a purpose, and they would invest in me and they would bet on me if I would do the same, bet
Mm.
on myself. And I didn't know it at the time, right? But at the time, I just wanted to hide. I just wanted to I didn't even want to be friends with anybody because I was like, you don't want to be associated with me. Like, I don't want to bring shame to you and I don't want people to question you because of me, right? So, but that people have their own agency. People make their own decisions, right?
Mm.
And I was making decisions for others out of my own fear and shame.
Mm.
And what came out of that in 2014, 15 was the birth of this idea of Raise the Bar.
Mm.
And it really was a little bit of like, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I had lost my job. I had used my retirement. I had two kids I had one in college and one in grade school, right? Like I had to figure out pretty quickly, like, again, it was almost like when I was pregnant with Anthony, like, what am I going to do now?
Mm.
I have to figure out a way forward. And my older son, Anthony, the one I had when I was 19, and I conceived of the idea of Raise the Bar. He had an opportunity and a platform by virtue of becoming a professional athlete to make a financial investment, but also make a true investment in change in community, right?
Mm.
And we decided together that we would invest in families like ours. And that's where I say betting on myself because I'm an educator by trade.
Mm.
I'm not an executive. Well, I am now, but that's my imposter syndrome, right? Like, I don't really
Mm.
belong in this space, but I was all self taught. It was like, no, I can do this. I know that with purpose, with passion, and with care, we can make this work. And you know what? It's working. It's beyond our wildest dreams. And I
Mm.
don't mean just in the way of like that's like my success, right?
Right.
It is, we are changing the landscape of workforce development, higher education, investing in communities for families that look like mine. We're removing, we're changing the conversation about like, you're broken and you deserve whatever like pittance you get, to an abundance mindset. Like, there's
Mm.
enough for everybody, and you are already doing the hard work. So let's make it easier for you to achieve your
Mm.
dreams. And the reason why folks should invest in that, we're having those conversations. And so for me, it's just like, it's beyond the craziest dream that I bet on myself. And here we are betting on families like mine.
Sorry, speaking of betting on families, that's my daughter who feels like she needs to FaceTime me all day. And I'm still navigating this generational difference.
I'm with you.
But I am so happy that you bet on yourself because the impact that Raise the Bar has had has been tremendous. I mean, I've had the opportunity now to attend two events and I can't decide which one is more magical, right? Because I got to see two sides of the scholars. But what you've done, and to your point, it's not that you did this yourself, but you're a catalyst. And that choice, even though it's seemingly selfish, it was the most unselfish thing you could do for humanity, because now you're giving a voice to another segment that can remain voiceless for life, all because society says they should be. Well, not. And so thank you, for betting on yourself. And so what's one thing you want to leave our audience with today?
Um, Gosh, one thing I would say, this is going to sound so like, I don't know, like Pollyanna-ish, right? Like rainbows and butterflies and unicorns, and we call it like utopia, right?
Utopia.
But it's real. It's like, look around, look across your street, look at the people that are people that you maybe casually hang out with, or even within your own family, your own close friend circle. I bet a single parent. I bet you you engage with a lot of single parents, be that a single mother, a single father, people who are parenting on their own, whether it's their own biological children or they're raising, siblings, family members, foster care, adopt, like whatever the family type is, right? I bet you know somebody who's doing that on their own. And think about, if you are a parent, how challenging it is if you have a partner and the two of you are raising a child on your own. Now imagine the challenge that is for one person to do, just emotionally, right? The emotional toll that it takes, all the decision making's on your own shoulders. You don't have that person to lean on, never mind all the other stuff that comes with that. But like, to say like, what do you think? Or I need help, or I can't, like, I need a break, right? There's no break when you're doing it by yourself. So what I would say is, whatever it is that you want for your life and for your family, somebody who's doing it on their own wants the same thing. They want their children to be happy and healthy and to have a good education. They want access to good health care. They want to be able to, try to have a little bit of savings and do a few things, within reason, that bring their family some joy, right? Like, they want the same things that a family that has, quote unquote, done it right, want. So can we make the road a little easier if they are desiring and dreaming of getting some sort of certification or going to college? Can we make that road a little easier so they can achieve that without taking on a whole bunch of debt and stress in the process? I think we can, because we all want the same thing in the end.
100%. And that's not Pollyanna-ish. It's not utopian. It's an imperative, right? Because who are we if we're not helping each other? And sometimes we need a little bit more help than other times, and that's okay. It takes a village.
Yep.
Why can't we all be in one village?
Yep. I'm with you on that.
Lori, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to be with us today, especially in light of all the crazy things you have going on. I appreciate you. If everyone, you will see in the show notes more details about Lori and how you can reach her and support Raise the Bar. Please help out. We need it. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Mwah.